Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following MLB matches that is happening on Monday, September 11th, 2023. We will be providing our team, total and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comments section below. Arizona Diamondbacks vs New York Mets. Take the Mets with the money line. The Mets are just looking for someplace to land this disaster season as they dropped 3 straight on the road prior to Saturday's finale in Minnesota. They were 4-6 over their last 10 games, outscored 44-41 in the process. On the year, the New York pitching staff had a 4.46 ERA over 141 games, 19th overall, and their 1,212 strikeouts were 17th overall. Quintana is making just his 10th start of the season, and the Mets have gone 2-7 when he has pitched. He has looked strong overall, allowing more than 3 runs just once, and over his last 2 outings, he has yielded just 1 run, 7 hits and 4 walks over 13 innings. Quintana has allowed just 1 home run over 54 innings of work this season. The New York Mets have had the upper hand in recent matchups with the Arizona Diamondbacks, including a clean sweep when they faced off in a 3-game series at the beginning of July. In fact, the Mets have won 8 consecutive meetings against the Backs dating back to 2021. Quintana, the Mets pitcher, has been impressive at Citi Field this season, surrendering just 3 runs over 17 innings while holding opponents to a .220 batting average at home. On the other hand, Davies, the Arizona starter, had a challenging outing against the Mets in July, giving up 4 runs over 5.2 innings, including 2 home runs. In his most recent start, he experienced his first subpar performance since returning from injury, resulting in his shortest outing of the season. Given the favorable matchup, this appears to be a good opportunity for the Mets to secure a home victory. The elements are in their favor, and they have a good chance to come out on top in this contest. Take the under. In the first 3 meetings this season, these 2 teams averaged 8.3 runs per game, and the under went 2-1. Between these 2 teams this season, there have been 152 of their games that have landed under the total. The Mets offense has scored 4 runs or less in 11 of their last 15 games. Even though they've won 5 of 6 games, 3 of those wins saw the Backs score 4, and they've scored 3 runs or less in 6 times in their last 11 games. If Quintana keeps up his successes at home, Arizona will find it hard to put runs up, which puts us where these 2 teams have been much of the year. Tampa Bay Rays vs Minnesota Twins. Take Tampa Bay on the money line. Tyler Glasnow is expected to take the mound for the Rays. In his last start, he went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, and struck out 14 batters in a win against the Boston Red Sox. Glasnow has a record of 8-5 with a 3.07 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, and a 134/28 KBB ratio in 17 starts this season. Opposing batters are hitting .201 against Glasnow this season. Tampa Bay has been very good on offense this season. The Rays rank top 10 in the league in runs, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, batting average, SLG, and OPS. The Rays pitching staff has been very good this season. They are top 10 in the league in ERA, hits allowed, runs allowed, home runs allowed, walks allowed, WHIP, and batting average against. Tampa Bay is second in the AL East and currently holds the top wild card spot in the AL. They are dealing with numerous injuries to their starting pitchers, most notably ace Shane McClanahan. Both teams seem likely they will make the postseason. This is a good matchup featuring 2 good starting pitchers. The edge in pitching will go to Tampa Bay with Tyler Glasnow on the mound. Glasnow has allowed 1 earned run or less in 7 of his last 10 starts. These 2 teams are fairly even, but the edge in this contest goes to the Rays with Glasnow on the mound. Tampa Bay will win this contest. Take the under, 7.5 runs. Sonny Gray is expected to take the mound for the Twins. He went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 earned runs, and struck out 4 in a no decision in his last start against the Cleveland Guardians. Gray has a record of 7-6 with a 2.98 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, and a 160/53 KBB ratio in 28 starts this season. Opposing batters are hitting .227 against Gray. The Twins have been decent on offense this season. They are sitting around the middle of the league in runs, RBIs, OBP, SLG, and OPS. The Twins are top 10 in home runs. Minnesota's pitching staff has been the main reason Minnesota sits atop the AL Central. As a team, they are top 10 in ERA, hits allowed, runs allowed, walks allowed, strikeouts, WHIP, and batting average against. Minnesota sits atop the AL Central with a decent lead over the Cleveland Guardians. The Twins will need to win the division in order to make the playoffs because it is a tight race for a wild card spot and they would be trailing a bunch of teams if they fall out of first in the division. Both starting pitchers have been very good this season. Sonny Gray has a 2.98 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, and a 160/53 KBB ratio in 28 starts this season. Opposing batters are hitting .227 against Gray. Tyler Glasnow has a 3.07 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, and a 134/28 KBB ratio in 17 starts this season. Opposing batters are hitting .201 against Glasnow this season. Glasnow has allowed 1 earned run or less in 7 of his last 10 starts. With Gray and Glasnow expected to be on the mound, this will be a lower scoring game, and the under will hit. Kansas City Royals vs Chicago White Sox. Chicago White Sox run line. Chicago enters this game ranked second to last in the AL Central and has lost their previous 3-game series on the road against the Tigers. In their most recent 3-2 loss, Jesse Schultens got the start in the loss, throwing 5 innings and allowing 8 hits that resulted in 3 runs, while striking out 4 and walking 2. From then on it was a bullpen game for the White Sox, which held the Tigers scoreless for the remainder of the game. On the offensive end, Chicago totaled 5 hits and 2 runs in the game. There were no multi-hit games or home runs for the White Sox, but Luis Robert Jr. and Eloy Jimenez had the team's 2 RBIs on the night. Overall it was a tough loss for the White Sox, as the offense couldn't perform well enough to win them the game. The White Sox give right-hander Dylan Cease the start for Game 1 in hopes of taking an early series lead with their ace on the bump. Cease has had a decent season so far, posting a 6-7 record, along with a 4.98 ERA and a 1.48 WHIP in those outings. His most recent start came against the Royals, in which he threw 5.1 innings and allowed 8 hits that resulted in 5 runs, while striking out 7 and walking 2. I would expect a better performance from Cease in his upcoming start, given the Royals' struggles on offense this season. Taking the White Sox to win this game by more than 1 run for a couple of reasons. The odds on their money line will likely have high odds and not provide the best return on investment. The White Sox have the edge on the bump throwing their ace, Dylan Cease, while the Royals give Brady Singer the start, who has a 5.34 ERA on the season. The Royals have dropped 3 of their past 4 games by more than 1 run, as their pitching staff has failed to keep mediocre offenses at bay. In terms of trends, the Royals have lost 7 of their past 10 games overall, including their past 4 in a row. In addition, when these teams have faced off in the past, the White Sox have won 4 of their past 6 matchups, making me all the more confident in taking the White Sox to win this game by more than 1 run. Our total pick is under. Kansas City enters this game ranked last in the AL Central and has been swept in their previous 4-game series on the road against the Blue Jays. In their most recent 5-2 loss, Cole Ragans got the start by throwing 5.2 innings and allowing 1 hit that resulted in 2 runs, while striking out 6 and walking 6. Taylor Clark came in and got the loss, allowing the go-ahead run in the 7th. On the offensive end, the Royals totaled 8 hits and 2 runs in the game. Bobby Witt Jr. and Edward Olivares had the only multi-hit games, with Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez having the team's only RBIs on the night. Overall it was a tough loss for the Royals, as neither the offense nor defense performed at the level it took to win this game. Taking the under in this game for a couple of reasons. While Brady Singer and Dylan Cease may not have the best numbers on the season, they are still very competent pitchers and could post quality starts in any given game. This pairs well with the fact that neither team has the best defense and has struggled to score runs consistently so far this season. The Royals lineup has been the worst of the pair, and they should have their work cut out for them facing a former Cy Young contender in Dylan Cease. In terms of trends, the Royals have gone under or pushed in their past 4 games, while the White Sox have gone under in their past 4 games as well. In addition, when these teams have faced off in the past, they have gone under in 5 of their past 7 matchups overall, making me all the more confident in taking the under for this game.